Hello and welcome to GrossiMath.com, where math is for everyone. Today we'll be solving question 11 from the 2017 Algebra 1 STAAR, and we'll be doing it by hand. So let's get started. Okay, so this is a very straightforward problem. It says, what is the solution to negative 4b plus 2 times some quantity equals negative 3 times some quantity? Okay. And basically, we're just going to find the solution. Solution is basically a keyword that means they want my answer to look like these options right here, which is that a number equals a letter. Okay. All right. Or I'm sorry, a number equals a letter equals a number. Okay. So that's going to be my final goal. So let me write that down here at the bottom of my paper. I'm going to write that because I want to know, hey, what am I trying to get to here? Okay. And then, because we're going to be solving an equation, the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, copy the question. So I'm just going to copy down my original algebra here, negative 4b plus 2 times the quantity of negative 4b plus 4 parentheses equals negative 3 parentheses negative 5b minus 3. Okay. And hopefully we'll be able to work with this. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is, and there's one other thing I should make sure that I use. Of course, when we solve equations, we need to keep in mind a little map that I always draw for all my students. It has a plus sign and a minus sign, multiplying and dividing. Basically, you have to think of it that and I always draw with my students, even though we won't need it with this problem, square and square root. Okay, so here I can see that I have some algebra, and I'm going to just solve it up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take these this 2 and distribute it, and this negative 3 and distribute it. And why am I going to do that? Because we need to get rid of parentheses. If we're really going to solve, I can see that in my answer I do not have any parentheses, right? I just have a letter B and a number. I don't have any parentheses, so I need to resolve those. I need to get rid of them. And the way we're going to resolve them is by multiplying. Now, to multiply in algebra, we use a special method called distributing. And basically, algebra is not really about numbers. It's about what they call terms. A term is a sign, a number, and a letter. And you can see that algebra is made of terms. Negative 4b. You see? That's a sign, a number, and a letter. Sign. Let me put it with a different color so you can really see it. Sign, number, letter. And as long as we keep the term, everything in that term is basically stuck together. In other words, it's not just a 4. It's a negative 4. And it's not just a negative 4. It's a negative 4b. They all go together, just like your arms are attached to your body. It could be called your arm, but it's also part of your body. And the term is the body. If you're gonna, you can move them around. You can do all kinds of cool things with terms, but you have to keep the little term piece, the whole SNL, you have to keep it together. Okay, so the way to do this without getting confused is to just give yourself space for a few terms. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this negative 4b, for example, and I'm just going to write it again down here. Negative 4, negative 4, and the letter b. Okay, see? And now I know what to copy because I knew I needed a sign, negative. I needed a number, 4. I needed a letter, b. Now I need a new sign. Well, I'm going to multiply. Is this just the number 2? No. Remember, terms, it's positive 2 because it has a plus sign in the front. And then I'm going to times it with this term right here, negative 4b. So negative and positive times negative makes negative. 2 times 4 makes 8. That's the number. You see the sign. Now the number. Then I have no letter here, but I have the letter B here. And therefore, boom. And what you can see is, basically what did I do? I multiplied this term and this term. Okay, now I'm going to do it again. I'm going to times this exact term, because remember, the parentheses is telling us to multiply. Well, it's telling us multiply all the terms inside. So we multiplied the first term already. That term we multiplied. So now I still have this second term, positive 4, and no letter. Okay, so it's okay for it to not have a letter as long as we keep in mind that it would be part of the term if it was there. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here and I need a sign. Positive times positive makes positive. 2 times 4 makes 8. No letter and no letter, so no letter. Okay, and now you can see that I have multiplied both of those terms with positive 2, and that's what those parentheses were telling me to do. So now if you are trying to practice that, probably pause the video right here and try it on the right hand side, and I'll wait. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video and you tried it out, but we're going to do it now together. Okay, so I'm going to take this -3 term and I'm going to multiply it with the -5b and also with the -3. Well, how can I do it easily? Well, I can put sign, number, letter. That's the first terms that I'll multiply, and then the second set that I multiply is going to make me another term. So sign, number, letter. Okay, negative and negative makes positive. Do I need to write positive in the very front of an expression? Not really, right? You don't write a positive in front of anything. Like this over here is a positive 27. We didn't write plus 27. It's just positive. Okay. 3 times 5 would make me the number 15. So far I have positive 15. And the letter, well, there's only a B, so I'm going to put a B. Now I need a new sign. Negative and negative makes positive. 3 times 3 makes 9. There's no letter here and no letter here, so there's no letter here. And now you can see that I have a nice algebraic expression without parentheses, which is one step closer to my goal. Okay, now I can see that in my goal, I have B on the left and I have numbers on the right. B is on the left and a number is on the right. So look, here I have some B's on the left, but I also have B's on the right, and I don't like that. I need to have all my B's be on the left. And now this is when it's going to come in that we're going to use our little map over here. Basically, the equal sign is the king of opposites. If you think about it, it makes a lot of sense to think about. Remember what I said, that you can move terms, okay? So we need to combine our knowledge of terms now and use this map with the terms that we've created. So what we're going to do is we want to have letters on one side and numbers on the other side. So we want to have one side that's just for letters, and we want to have one side that's just for numbers. Okay? So, or variables, you could call them, right, if you want to be very fancy about it. -4b minus 8b. Those look correct, so I'm just going to copy them down. But this 15b needs to move. It needs to come to the other side of the equal sign. See, the equal sign is like a barrier. And when it comes over, the equal sign is the king of opposites. So look, it's a positive 15b. You see what I was saying before about terms now? Because once again, when I move it, I need to move the whole entire term, and I need to honor one rule. If I cross the equal sign, I need to use the opposite. Okay, so right here, when I cross the equal sign, it goes from being positive 15 to being negative 15. B. You see? Sign, number, letter, sign, number, letter, sign, number, letter. So it looks good. Now, what do you think is going to happen with this positive 8? Well, first we should say the 9 is already on here, so we can leave it alone. Why did I put it positive 9? Because it had a plus sign in the front. So see, it's positive 9, and it stayed positive 9. So the terms all stick together. Now I move this term, positive 8, to the right side. And when I move it to the right, what's going to happen? Well, it crossed the equal sign. So if it crosses the equal sign, I need to honor my little map over here. It crossed the equal sign from positive, and it became negative. So I'm going to make a negative 8. Okay, so now you can see I have B's on the left and numbers on the right. Okay, so now I just need to combine all my B's and my numbers. Okay, so here I have -4, -8, -15. Okay, well, -4 and -8 makes -12. Okay, -4 and -8 makes -12. If you owe 4 and you owe 8, you owe a total of 12. So -4 minus 8 makes -12. And then negative 12 minus 15 is going to make me negative 27. And that's my B. Okay. Now I'm going to have here 9 minus 8. Well, obviously that equals 1. Okay. So again, what did I do? I combined the sign and the number portion. In order to combine things, the letter part or the variable has to be identical. And you can see that these each have a B, each have a B, each have a B. So I'm allowed, because it's just one little set, it's B's and B's and B's. So I'm allowed to make them into just one pile of B's. And that's exactly what I did. I said, well, I have negative 4 and I have negative 8. If I put together negative 4 and negative 8, of course I get negative 12. And then I have another 15, but it's also negative, so now negative 15. Okay, so I combine all those numbers, I get negative 27. And that's going to equal, well, 9 minus 8 equals 1. So we have the same expression here, but it's written in a simpler way, which is why they call it simplifying when you do things like this. Okay, so now we're getting really close. So this is the algebra that I'm working on now. Right here. Okay, and now what am I going to do? Well, now I see that I have a term, and over here, the number 1. Okay, but I have the B on the left, that's great, and I have a 1 on the right, that's also great. So now I gotta get rid of this negative 27. Now some students are gonna say, hey, I can move the negative 27 over here and make it a positive, and then I'm gonna add it up and get an answer. Incorrect, and I'll tell you why it's incorrect. Because terms have to stick together. Remember, I told you, it's not just negative 27. It's negative 27b. The S and L is like a body. You have to keep it together. Okay? So if I want to make a change to this term, I have to multiply or divide. I can't move it, because if I move it, I'm going to have to move the whole term. And I don't want to move the whole entire term. I just want to get rid of a piece of the term. So basically, in order to get rid of it, to get rid of that negative 27, because you can see that right here I don't have negative 27 in my answer, right? In order to get rid of negative 27, I'm going to divide the term by negative 27. And there's a rule on the equal sign, and I'm sure that every math teacher from coast to coast of the United States teaches it this way, that if you do it on the left, you have to do it on the right. Or if you do it on one side, you have to do it on the other side. Think about it. It's an equal sign. To keep things equal, you have to do it on both sides. Once on this side and once on this side. Okay, so negative 27 divided by negative 27. Well, they're perfect matches. A number divided by itself equals 1. Well, that means that I have only one B left, which is exactly what I wanted, a single B. And on this side, I have a fraction. And many students are going to say, well, I hate fractions. Well, so what? It's still the correct answer. Don't be nervous about getting a fraction. That's just a little joke. Don't be nervous about getting a fraction, because look, I'm done with all the math. You don't have to think it's wrong just because it's a fraction. It happens to so many students that they think things are wrong just because they got a fraction. No, it's okay. In high school, we can leave a fraction as a fraction. We don't have to mess with it. We don't have to turn it into a decimal, nothing. So B equals, as long as it's simplified, you do have to simplify, but most people think that that's kind of easy. B equals negative 1 over 27. And what is this? It's the correct answer. And you can see that it follows my pattern perfectly. A number on the left, a letter on the left, and a number on the right. Now someone's going to say, I have a fraction on the right. Yes, a fraction is a number. Okay, so B equals negative 1 over 27. And that's it. That is my correct answer. So today we learned how to solve an algebraic equation by practicing with question 11 from the 2017 Algebra STAAR. First, we distributed, which is a special kind of multiplication that we use in algebra, using the sign, number, letter method. Then we collected all of our terms to match our goal, which our goal was letter equals number. Okay, so we collected all the terms and we said, all right, let's get all the letters on one side and all the numbers on another side. Then we simplified those terms because we said, look, they're all B's, so let's just make one little pile of B's instead of having 3 separate terms just for B's. So negative 4 B's negative 8b's, negative 15b's came out to be negative 27b. That's really important. And then finally, we knew that we could not break the term, so we had to divide in order to get rid of that negative 27. And that came over here and made b equals negative 1 over 27. All right, so there you go. If you need to break a term, remember, you have to use multiplying and dividing to break a term. You cannot just move the number because the term is stuck together. In order to break it, you can only multiply and divide. If you're going to move pieces around, you have to keep the term all together, the sign, the number, and the letter. And if you cross the equal sign, you have to change the sign. Okay? All right. So those are the rules of solving an equation. If you practice it enough, I'm sure you'll get it. And if you want to practice, you can. Not forget to like and subscribe. Click on the bell icon and find some practice problems at the website where math is for everyone, www.grossimath.com. Have a great day.